What is going on, guys? JD from New York here, and this is WWE Off the Script, episode number 123, part number 3 of the number one fucking podcast in your subscription boxes right here on YouTube.com, man. Thank you so much for spending your Sunday with me, and I'll be right here again for part 4 on Monday. Yes, there will be a part 4 of Off the Script for you guys on Monday morning at 11 a.m., man. I got more news than I wanted to cover this weekend, so I am giving you a random part 4. I don't usually do it. I don't do it all the time, but when there's news that I can't get to and I don't want to overload one video, I will make yet another video for you guys. That is on Monday, so word of advice, if you're up early, if you're going to work, if you're bored at work, if you're sitting down eating a fucking croissant or a muffin and you need shit to do before you actually start your day, I will have you covered right here on Off the Script. Part 4 of episode 123 tomorrow at 11 a.m. So thank you guys for that. But this is part 3. We got some news to go over, including, did the WWE ban Sasha Banks' bank statement? And plus Cody Rhodes possibly making a return to the WWE. We'll talk about that, plus so much more right here on part 3 of this weekend show. Quickly, guys, I don't want to waste too much of your time. Let me go over what I usually go over in the beginning of my videos, man. T-shirts. If you guys want your T-shirts, barbershopwindow.com. Link will be down in the description below. And starting on the 28th of June, you will get 20% off all your purchases throughout the entire fucking week. 20% off. I will leave you the information down below in the description. I believe the coupon code is America for Independence Day here in the United States. 4th of July sale. Huge 4th of July sale going on all weekend long. So if you guys want to get your hot Roman Reigns t-shirt, man, get off my TV, you guys can go and get it 20% off. If you've been waiting, this week is the week to do it. And the first 250 people to make a purchase on Pro Wrestling Tees and Barbershop Window will get an exclusive one-time only t-shirt for the first 250 customers, man. That is a deal I want you guys to take advantage of starting on the 28th of June. I will leave you all the information down in the description below. The official partner of Barbershop Window for Off the Script. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter, at JD from NY206, we just hit 10,000 followers. Subscribe to the channel. I don't know what the fuck you're waiting for. We just hit 54,000 and counting subscribers. Thank you to that. You guys are fucking unbelievable. If you want to continue to pledge the Patreon, it's patreon.com/JD from NY206. You guys will be getting your t-shirts very, very soon. Do not worry. Those who pledge $25 or more, you will be getting a t-shirt of your choice. And as always, man, WrestleCrate.com. Visit those guys, man. They got a new box coming. Ed sent out the tracking numbers for your crate, so if you did purchase a crate this month, your crate will be sent out with tracking information this week. Hopefully, I'll be getting the crate this week to do an unboxing on next week's Off the Script. Visit them at WrestleCrate.com and on Twitter at WrestleCrates and use the coupon code JDSENTME for an instant 10% off. Now, one thing I do want to mention, and you guys have been tweeting me all weekend long, apparently Adam Blampied, if I pronounced his name right, because I don't really watch What Culture all that often. I know who they are. I watch them from time to time. But according to, I guess, Wrestling with Regret on YouTube, they are getting an Internet Darlings podcast set up for WrestleMania 33 weekend, April 1st on Saturday. And they're getting and assembling YouTube WWE personalities. According to the people who are gathering, individuals for this show, Adam Blampied's going to be there. Wrestling with Regret is going to be there. And Grimm's Toy Show, who's a fucking beast in his own right, is going to be there. I want you guys to fucking spam Adam Blampied and Wrestling with Regret. I'll leave you their information down below for their Twitters, man. I want you to go there. Because a lot of people have come to me, JD, you should be on this panel. You and Joe should be on this panel. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. If you want to see me with these guys on stage, being asked questions, giving WrestleMania preview and predictions right before WrestleMania 33. That is, if I can get down to Orlando. I want you guys to go spam these guys on Twitter. Tell them, listen, you cannot have this show without JD and Joe Cronin. I want you guys to go to their Twitters and state, why are you having an internet YouTube wrestling show put together and you're not going to include JD and Joe Cronin? So if you guys want to see me with those guys, can you imagine me and Adam? Can you imagine the creative genius? Adam himself and JD, the two men who should be leading the WWE creative team. Can you imagine that? Both of us on the same stage? Come on, man. Do what you got to do and show them why Team JD is fucking number one. Like I said, I'll leave you that information down below. That was brought to my attention this week as well, okay? Now, let's get into the news, guys. I don't want to go on for too long in this video because I do want to do a part 4 for you guys. We are going to go over some of the things that I got here. Now, I don't know if this is true or not because I've seen other reports stating that this is not true, but this is the first thing that I've seen, and I hope this is right, and I hope WWE is going to go this way because this is what I envision for the WWE Women's Division, that it will be featured on both Raw and SmackDown after the brand split. Now, there are not enough women on the main roster for them to do 2 separate titles and 2 separate entities for the Women's Division. That would be a fucking mistake. You need Charlotte to go back and forth between both shows. That's the way it should be because there's not enough to keep ideas fresh in the Women's Division if you're going to split the rosters and give us 2 titles. Not going to happen. I would rather them be featured on both shows. We get all women across both brands with Charlotte going back and forth, and you set up a Women's Division worthy of a fucking division. You know, ranking, you set up matches to set up Charlotte's next opponent. It's not that fucking difficult. And if you include Bayley, and you get Sasha Banks in there, and you got Becky, and now you got Natalya working as a heel, you got Paige, you got some decent fucking women there, man. I mean, how many women, logically, can WWE work with, or how many women do they have that they can work with to split the rosters in half and have 2 separate women's divisions? It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So this is why I am reporting this, because I want this to be true. One of the biggest questions involving the brand split was how WWE is going to structure the women's division after the WWE draft. Will the division be exclusive to one brand or be featured on both shows? On paper, featuring all the women on one show would make that brand unique and be very good for the women to have that kind of identity in the WWE. But it looks like the powers that be in WWE have gone with the latter idea. According to a report from DWN, DailyWrestlingNews.com, WWE officials have made the decision that the women's division will be featured on both shows after the WWE draft and brand extension. Obviously, there are a lot of questions about how this is going to work. For example, will the women's champion Charlotte be forced to defend her title every few weeks against a number 1 contender from Raw and SmackDown? If the women are going to be featured on both shows, will there be a mid-card or even a tag team championship to give that division something new to chase for the competitors? There are a lot of questions without easy answers, but we're going to have to wait and see what WWE wants to do with the women's division. Now, if they were completely on one brand, I would not mind that either, but I think you got to give a taste of the women to both Raw and SmackDown. Charlotte transferring back to both shows, I think, is the right idea. Same thing with the tag team division. I think whoever the champions are, for example, right now, New Day, they would be going back and forth and would be seeing tag teams on both shows. Because I don't think the WWE has enough teams to split 2 separate titles. Or to have 2 separate titles. It's not going to work that way, man. WWE is going to create more problems for itself if they do that, instead of having those titles, which the division really isn't, I would say the division really isn't stacked, because WWE doesn't use half of the fucking teams that they have. They have not used half of the teams that they have. They don't even use half of the women that they have on the main roster. There's no Summer Rae. There's no, they got Dana Brooke they just called up. Emma is hurt. I mean, where is the women in the WWE, which you can put them separately on both Raw and SmackDown with 2 separate rosters. It's not going to work that way. It's not going to work with the women. It's not going to work with the tag team. Both of those titles need to be going back and forth between both shows. The Intercontinental title stays on Raw. The U.S. title stays on SmackDown. The WWE title stays on Raw. And then WWE brings back another World Championship, whether they want to bring back the big gold belt or make something else completely different for the World Championship over there. That is it. And then obviously with the Cruiserweight Classic, I don't know how this is going to end or what the result is going to be after it's all said and done. The Cruiserweight Championship may return. I don't know. That might be a title strictly for NXT. I think that would be best because knowing Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn and all these other fucking goons on fucking WWE main roster, they're going to ruin the Cruiserweight division within a week. And it'll be fucking complete garbage. So the Cruiserweight title for NXT would be great. And a great way to add another title to NXT. That's what I think should happen at the conclusion of this Cruiserweight Championship, or this Cruiserweight Tournament, that I can't wait to see. Especially with Mauro Ranallo and Daniel Bryan covering it. Holy shit. If you guys seen the teaser on WWE.com, I'll try and link it if I remember down in the description, man, or I'll put it in the comments somewhere. They did a teaser, a Facebook video that they posted on their YouTube page, 15 minutes, with Mauro Ranallo and Daniel Bryan in a live setting with the ring announcer from NXT and Full Sail full of fans. And they announced everybody that was going to be competing in the Cruiserweight Classic. Unbelievable atmosphere. It's just a great thing to see, and I can't wait to see this happen. And there are spoilers out there already, which I'm not reading. I am not reading. I will give you guys some spoilers on tomorrow's show because apparently the result was leaked already about Nakamura versus Finn Balor at NXT. And what's going to happen after that, because NXT taped 3 weeks of tapings leading into the next month. So I will go over that for you guys, a word of warning. But getting back into the main roster and the brand split, the women's division needs to be on both shows. They need to be featured on both shows. I don't think bringing back a tag team championship is wise. There's just not enough women. There's not enough women. You wait until you get a Bayley up there. You wait until you get Emma back. Then the division will pretty much be stacked. It will really be stacked. But right now, that's my opinion on that. I hope to God they do not split the women's division and make 2 fucking titles. That's the last thing WWE needs. They don't even need to add a tag team championship. Forget about it. Just leave it as is and build the division with what you got on both brands with 1 fucking champion right now, which is Charlotte. WWE trying to bring back Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio's been doing some very good work outside of WWE. He's been an amazing presence during Lucha Underground's 2nd season, which is going to culminate with Ultima Lucha 2. Which I'm sure some of you guys will probably say, "Oh, JD, you gotta go watch Lucha Underground, man." I know. I'm just fucking lazy. Very soon. However, there have been some rumblings that one of them, you know what? I have ideas for t-shirts. The Goon is one of them. Okay? Or the fucking creative writer, man. "Oh, JD, man." I'm definitely going to get something with a caricature drawn up on a t-shirt with the fucking Goon. Alright? Or maybe the creative writer with the pocket protector and it's got the off-the-script logo on his t-shirt. I don't know. Something along those lines, man. We'll figure something out. I got Get Off My TV version 4 and version 5 all ready to go. You guys have requested a Take It With a Grain of Salt t-shirt. So I don't know why I just mentioned this in the midst of reading a Rey Mysterio article. You know, probably because Rey Mysterio is not coming back to the WWE. Why the fuck would he leave Lucha Underground? I know WWE wants him to bolster the roster, but I just don't see it happening. Why he would walk away from them and betray Lucha Underground, especially when he's under contract. But, however, there have been some rumblings that one of the names that WWE was talking about, mentioning that they have seen or wanted to request the statuses of Morrison and Mr. Kennedy and Carlito and Kurt Angle, those types of guys to bring back to the company in the midst of the brand split and the roster draft to kind of bolster the veteran side of the roster to get the younger guys over. Rey Mysterio is apparently one of those guys. There isn't much information about it other than WWE is interested, but this isn't the first time they've tried to get Mysterio back. Back in February, there was an onslaught of rumors about Mysterio potentially returning to the WWE before WrestleMania 32. However, that obviously did not happen and was just a flare-up on the road to WrestleMania which is frankly full of rumors each and every year. It was revealed during that time that Mysterio is signed through 2017 with Lucha Underground. Of course, he could breach his deal, and there could be a parting of ways. That doesn't seem like a great idea, considering how wonderful Mysterio's run in Lucha Underground has been. He's been featured heavily, and is a former Trios champion with Dragon Azteca and Prince Puma. It's unclear why he would want to leave the promotion at all, but it seems like WWE is just actively making phone calls to everyone they can think of to see who is available and who is not. Obviously, Mysterio's name came up, but many stranger things have happened. Rey Mysterio is not coming back to the WWE. That's it. I have nothing else to add to that. He would be great. He would fit very nicely on SmackDown, but he is not leaving Lucha Underground until at least 2017. That's all you guys need to know. Cody Rhodes, he requested his release from the WWE. He may actually come back to the WWE. Back in May, Cody Rhodes requested and was granted his release from the WWE after nearly a decade of being a WWE superstar. Essentially, Cody was unhappy with his role in the company and didn't want to continue to waste his time being stuck in the mid-card, which is completely understandable, of doing very well for roughly 10 years. He wanted to be himself, and WWE did not allow him to be Cody Rhodes. Vince wanted him to remain Stardust, which makes absolutely no fucking sense to me. It really doesn't. So he said, fuck this, I'm gone. It was reported that WWE officials didn't leave things very well for Cody Rhodes after he left the company, and there were some hurt feelings on both sides. However, there is a new report claiming that WWE and Rhodes may have been talking over the last few days about something unique. According to DWN, DailyWrestlingNews.com, the two parties are discussing a new deal that would be very similar to WWE's Legends deal. WWE would be allowed to sell merchandise with Cody's blessing. Despite the speculation, there is apparently nothing about Cody Rhodes returning to the ring for WWE in this deal. But that door will open if he's working with the company in some other way, obviously. Rhodes has been doing very well on the independent scene and is a hot commodity. He'll be facing opponents like Kurt Angle, Mike Bennett, and more. We'll just have to see how things develop with Rhodes and the WWE. You see, I did not actually read this article before I had this ready to go for Off the Script, so this is a little disheartening to me. I did not know within this article that it was merely a Legends deal they were talking about. It's sad to see that Cody Rhodes is not returning, at least right now, to the WWE in the ring as an active performer. But WWE, with this brand extension and this draft coming up, you know, they should really fucking just sit back and suck it up and say, listen, we fucked up. We fucked up. We want you back. We want Cody Rhodes back, no Stardust. We want to give you what you want. We're going to give in to the demands that you want. And we're going to make you a superstar on SmackDown. We're going to make you a main event guy on SmackDown. Cody Rhodes is a little over 30 years old, man. He's been in the WWE for 10 years. He's younger than I am. He's great and has the potential to be great. He was never given the opportunity to show everyone that potential. So WWE really should muster this up and say, you know what, we fucked up here. We'll give Cody Rhodes what he wants. We'll allow him to come back and have creative direction in his gimmick. Make him happy. Let him do what he wants to do. And we'll make him a superstar, a legit superstar guy on SmackDown. That would be fantastic. But WWE's not going to do that. But if there is a Legends deal reached and WWE can sell merchandise with Cody's liking on it, that could open the door potentially for him to come back. But right now, you know, Cody Rhodes is probably making just as much money in the independents doing what he's got to do. Wrestling guys like Kurt Angle, Mike Bennett. You know, he could go anywhere he wants and legit be a fucking #1 guy. That's how good he is. He could go to Ring of Honor and be a #1 guy. He could go to TNA and be their world champion. But why would Cody Rhodes want to do that? He wants to be on the main stage. He didn't want to leave WWE. He left WWE because they were disrespecting him. How can you not give this guy what he wants? Something so simple as for him to be himself on television. He's got to be stuck with the Stardust gimmick that already reached its fucking ceiling. There's nothing you could do with that gimmick. He did it as an honor and a tribute to Dusty. That has seen its day. He wants to live with the Rhodes legacy, with the last name of Rhodes. He wants to bring that into the spotlight. That's going to be his way to give back to his father. Have him be himself. This is Dusty's son, Cody. Let him go out there and be himself. And WWE should really think long and hard about this. Give this guy what he wants and bring him back. That's what I would do. But right now, according to sources and according to this report, it's merely just a Legends deal. And Cody Rhodes and the door for him to come back into the WWE will be open. We'll just pretty much have to see where this goes with the Legends deal, if indeed that does happen. Dana Brooke, you guys know her as Miss Botchamania herself. Dana Brooke has some heat after botching a spot on Monday Night Raw. I'm sure you guys know which spot that is. On Monday Night Raw, Charlotte was defending her Women's Championship against Paige. The finish of the match relied on Dana Brooke to pull Charlotte's foot, or put Charlotte's foot, it looked like. I don't even know what the fuck the ending was supposed to be. Was she supposed to pull it under the rope? Was she supposed to put it on the rope? Either way, she fucked it up, okay? And it did not go very well. Brooke botched the spot, which forced the referee, who's seen this happening, he's seen the botch happen, and normally when the referee catches something like that, disqualification. Referee didn't disqualify the match. He didn't disqualify Charlotte. He didn't give the outcome to Paige. All he did was merely kick Dana Brooke out of the ringside area. He sent her to the back. So, in what should have been a disqualification, Dana Brooke fucked up. So, I know you guys seen that. I seen it. It was laughable. You can't be making mistakes like that, man. That's the second mistake she's made in just as many weeks. She's very, very sloppy in the little time that she's had in the ring, and she really needs to tighten that shit up. Otherwise, things are going to go downhill for Miss Dana Brooke. That forced the referee and her to do a little, improv. Fortunately, the match ended soon after that, and everything went fine. However, there is some heat on Dana Brooke for botching a fairly simple task that was important to keep the heel heat on Charlotte going into the end of the match. According to ringtalk.com, with 2 Ks, ringtalk.com, never heard of them before. Take it with a grain of salt, goons. WWE officials are a little upset about Brooke's botch, but it's nothing that will derail her push because it's just a mistake. Ooh, it's just a mistake. It's just one mistake. She hasn't made several other mistakes before this. WWE should start keeping a fucking tab on Dana Brooke's botches and see where it goes. Brooke needs to bring her game, her A game now, because she is going to have WWE officials watching her like a hawk now, so every little detail counts, especially considering the kind of push that is rumored for her. The allegiance with Charlotte is working, and Brooke is becoming a good heater for her, but she's going to need some better work in the ring if she's going to keep up with the talent in the division. So Dana Brooke right now, there is some heat. It's not nuclear heat, but some people are talking that, they brought her up and she's already fucking up, and there's rumors about her getting some kind of massive push for whatever reason. I don't know why. Vince McMahon reportedly, I don't know who reported this, but according to sources, Vince McMahon sees her as the Roman Reigns of the women's division. I have no idea what the fuck that means, but that means, well, is she going to be Superwoman? Is she going to be taking fucking Styles clashes and kicking out Styles clashes on steel chairs? Seriously. Dana Brooke, too soon to be pushed like that. She really needs to get her feet wet. She needs to develop some type of character in the ring. We still don't know exactly who Dana Brooke is. All we know that, she is aligned with Charlotte and she's a mentor, replacing Ric Flair. We really don't know anything about Dana Brooke right now. We don't know anything at all about her. And she needs to tighten up what she's doing around the ringside area and in the ring. And, this is what happens when WWE is pushing somebody for the sake of the higher-ups and the officials taking a liking to the way she looks or how she acts or her character. Meanwhile, what's happening in the ring is not ready to be pushed nuclear like that. It's not ready to be fucking rocketed to the moon. You can't do it. It's not right. It makes no sense. Dana Brooke has a long way to go before she even sees a fucking push like that. And the only reason why she's getting a push like that is because Emma is out. Emma was going to be, in her spot, and they would have been together. They would have relived the fucking duo that they had down in NXT. Dana Brooke wouldn't be, surpassing Emma as far as push goes. Emma would be leading that duo. Now they're talking about Dana Brooke leading this duo and getting her a fucking huge push And a potential match with Charlotte down the line for the Women's Championship. She ain't ready for that. Not this year, anyway. She got a long way to go. I don't mind WWE bringing up new talent, but don't push them for the sake of, pushing them. Make them earn it first. Have them show us that they deserve it first. Doesn't work like that to me, and I hate seeing shit like that. If she keeps botching shit like that, like she did on Monday night, nobody's going to want to see her. Fucking fans included. So Dana Brooke, right now, has some heat. Probably will blow over. Nothing too big. But people are talking about that simple botch that happened on Monday Night Raw. Big update on Eric Young's status with NXT. Back in early May, Eric Young made a shocking appearance during an episode of NXT, which was great. Came out to a great ovation. EY, the crowd was chanting. He was rumored to be negotiating a deal with WWE to become a member of the roster, but a few expected him to just show up one day. During his appearance, he confronted Samoa Joe a week after finally becoming the NXT champion and challenged him to a match later on in that night in a losing effort. EY was choked out, and he hasn't been seen in NXT since. Recently, Triple H talked about Eric Young coming into NXT and an update on his situation. The game revealed that he's working on it with Young and Bobby Roode. According to Ringside News, there is even more recent updates. Dave Meltzer posted the following on Twitter about Eric Young's status with NXT, and if he's in, so to speak, meaning that the contract is set and he's ready to go. We all know Bobby Roode is with NXT after making a brief appearance on NXT programming and wrestling during an NXT live event during their recent tour. Eric Young is a more question mark type status, which means that an advantage for him, or that is an advantage for him. At the moment, Samoa Joe does not have a number one contender for the NXT Championship. By the time you see this Nakamura-Finn Balor match, I think that will change. It will be Nakamura versus Joe at Brooklyn Takeover 2. Crazier things have happened, and Eric Young is going to be around if Meltzer is right about his current status. Eric Young will be in NXT. Bobby Roode is already in NXT. It's just a matter of time. I think a contract is done with Eric Young. They're just waiting to debut him and have him come in making an impact after that first debut against Samoa Joe. Eric Young, no question in my mind, will be with NXT. NXT will need him if they're going to raid specific individuals for the WWE draft. So NXT is going to need to be replenished here. Eric Young and Bobby Roode certainly make up a lot of loopholes and gaps in that roster with the draft coming up if they are going to draft Finn Balor, American Alpha, and the Revival, and whoever else they got fucking planned. But Eric Young and Bobby Roode will be with NXT. It's just a waiting game as of right now. Brock Lesnar's fight at UFC 200 could lead to a full return to UFC. In a little bit more than 2 weeks, Brock Lesnar will return to the Octagon to face Mark Hunt at UFC 200 in one of the most anticipated fights in UFC history. I don't know about that, but it's certainly a much anticipated matchup. The fight brings up so many unique angles to the wrestling industry and WWE in general. Lesnar's performance at UFC 200 is going to have major implications on WWE programming. A very interesting angle was brought to light in an article recently released by WrestleZone.com that there could be some serious implications on his WWE career if he were to win this fight with Mark Hunt. I was at a bridal party fucking 4 hours ago before I recorded this video and sat down. I did mention Brock Lesnar, and some people who were at the party are UFC fans and WWE fans, and they seen my Get Off My TV t-shirt. They asked about it. I told them about my podcast. They asked about Brock Lesnar. We discussed Brock Lesnar. This is what I said about Brock Lesnar before I even finished this news article on Lesnar and UFC 200. My opinion on this, and I know Lesnar's contract is up in April 2017. I believe it's up in April 2017. I could be wrong, but I do believe it is up after WrestleMania 33. If Brock Lesnar wins this fight against Mark Hunt, if Brock Lesnar is successful at UFC 200, I can certainly see him going back to the UFC full time, because he will have pretty much rectified himself and redeemed himself, and he got that one win that he wanted. He's going to feel amazing after he beats Mark Hunt. Whether he beats him or not, I don't know. That remains to be seen. Lesnar could very well get fucking knocked out. I don't know. But if Lesnar does win and is successful in impressive fashion, I do see Brock Lesnar going back to the UFC, and I do see him challenging for the UFC Heavyweight Championship by the end of 2016. I do. I really do. And if WWE wants to see this happen, I say go for it. If Lesnar is successful against Mark Hunt, I say let him do what he wants. Because can you imagine if a WWE superstar wins the UFC championship? What kind of publicity that means for WWE? That would be unbelievable. I don't know if that would actually happen. I don't know if Dana White would allow that to have a contracted WWE employee win their fucking world title. He's not even a full-time fucking member of the roster over there on UFC. But stranger things have happened. All I'm saying is that if Lesnar wins this fight against Mark Hunt, he will be back in the UFC full-time because he will have that taste of victory again. He will have redemption, and he's going to be like mentally, you know what? If I can do this, I can do the world title. I can beat the world champion. I can get back my fucking title. I can reclaim my throne in UFC. I believe that's what Brock Lesnar mentally is going to do. And the only reason why he's getting back in the ring right now, or in the octagon, is because he wants redemption. He feels better than he's ever felt in his entire life. And the only reason why he was destroyed by guys like Overeem and all these other guys is because of diverticulitis. He mentally figured he could do it. Diverticulitis said, no, fuck you. I'm not allowing you to be at your best. And that disease took him down several notches. He felt like he could do it, but in the end, he couldn't. He was only half of the man that he is now. Now we got a 100% Brock Lesnar. I would not count out Brock Lesnar for you UFC enthusiasts out there, you fucking elitists. Oh, this is a WWE guy. Lesnar's weak. Give me a fucking break, man. Why would you ever count out Brock Lesnar? Never count out Brock Lesnar. He might not be the greatest fucking fighter in the octagon, but he's certainly no man you would bet against, you know? Why would you automatically doom his outcome? You don't know what the fuck this guy's capable of. In fact, many people, in my honest opinion, are going to go with Brock Lesnar this time around because he is 100% healthy. But I can certainly see him back in the UFC if he wins this match against Mark Hunt. That's just my opinion on that. Now, a very interesting angle was released by WrestleZone.com that could have implications on his WWE career. Lesnar has already admitted that he felt robbed of his UFC career because of his issues with diverticulitis. He wasn't able to compete healthy for the majority of his fighting career, which robbed him of real results. In a nutshell, if he's able to return to UFC and defeat someone like Mark Hunt, what's stopping him from wanting more and attempting to get back the UFC World Heavyweight Championship that he could argue was taken from him unfairly? The most obvious thing stopping him is his WWE contract that doesn't expire or 2 more years. This says 2 more years, so he has 2 more WrestleManias left. But this one-off fight he's having with Hunt was allowed by WWE. Will there be more fights coming in Brock Lesnar's future if it doesn't interfere with WWE? Imagine Lesnar entering the Octagon or even WrestleMania with the UFC World Heavyweight Championship and the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. This is a possibility, people. This is a huge possibility. And there's no doubt in my mind, if I am Vince McMahon, why the fuck would you deny Lesnar the opportunity at that? That means money for everybody. Money for Lesnar. It means fucking unbelievable publicity for WWE. That would be the legit first time ever someone contracted to WWE walks into their company with another world title. But the thing is, will Dana White allow that? Will Vince McMahon allow that? I think it's a no-brainer. I think it's a no-brainer. If Mark Hunt goes down to defeat against Brock Lesnar, I think Lesnar is going to do this full time. I think he's going to believe in himself. Listen, I feel good. This is what I wanted to do, but I couldn't with diverticulitis. He's going to be back. He's going to make a push for that world title. I predict that. That is my opinion on that. WWE is banning the bank statement. This is just mind-blowing to me. And we're going to end off the script with this one. This, I believe, is a false rumor. You know, I believe Joe reached out. Joe was fucking livid over this shit. He reached out to Road Dogg on Twitter, and Road Dogg didn't even hear about this fucking shit. So more than likely, this is not true. Last week on Monday Night Raw, Sasha Banks made her long-awaited return to WWE programming. She confronted Women's Champion Charlotte and drove her out of the ring along with Dana Brooke. It would seem that Banks is ready to go once again and begin her climb to the top of the women's division. However, she may not be returning with her full arsenal of maneuvers. According to a report from Ring Talk, never heard of them before, Again, it's the second time they popped up in this fucking video. Take it with a grain of salt, clowns. WWE has banned the boss from using her submission move, the bank statement. Really? Why the fuck would you ban something so simple? It's not like she's going in there killing people with it. Give me a fucking break. Should be noted that when she attacked Charlotte on Raw, she only used the backbreaker portion of the move and not the actual submission hold. Should it be true, the reason behind the decision has not been released. Possible theory that has emerged, however, is that the bank statement is similar to the crippler crossface used by Chris Benoit. Are you fucking kidding me? You mean to tell me you can't get over this? 10 years later? Give me a fucking break, World Wrestling Entertainment. WWE wants to do everything they can to distance themselves from Benoit and his legacy as much as possible, which includes prohibiting Banks from using her finisher. This is all speculation at this point, and no formal report has been released. It's funny how this report came out the week Jericho decides to put up a podcast that he recorded with Nancy Benoit's sister this week on his show, Talk is Jericho. It's funny. And I listened to that entire podcast, man. Absolutely a must listen. You get into the mind of her sister, and she goes over what she's seen that night and the weeks leading up to Benoit doing what he did. Everybody thought it was a conspiracy theory, an inside job. They fucking said Kevin Sullivan did it. There was some satanic ritual. Whatever the fuck they were talking about. You listen to Nancy Benoit's sister, and you kind of get the fact that everything that led up to this instance completely broke Benoit down. And the way she describes it, and the instances that happened, the situations that happened, with everybody passing, family, friends, close friends, people in the business that Benoit fucking, well, you couldn't live life without, were gone. The death of Eddie Guerrero killed Chris Benoit. Not only internally here, but up here, mentally. And she goes over all that. The weeks leading up to this situation that happened where he killed his wife and his son and then took his own life. And the manner in which he took his own life. She describes how he took his own life, what he was doing, what he researched, what the police found in the computer, how he was researching how to break someone's neck via the Google search engine, how he killed his wife one night and then killed his son the following morning and stayed in the house with both of them dead until he took his life that Sunday. She goes over all of that, and I'm getting fucking chills just thinking about it and talking about this shit, man. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. You get into the mind of what Benoit was going through, the drugs that he was taking, the alcohol that he was abusing, because everybody in this world was dying on him. His best friend, gone. You know, Jericho going over the fact that when they were at Eddie's funeral, Benoit completely was a broken man, crying, unbelievably. And they go over everything, man. If there's one podcast you got to listen to all year, it is that one. I was half asleep listening to this shit, man. I'm fucking eyes wide open listening to it. Because it's something that everybody wanted to hear. The 9-year anniversary, Jericho uploaded that exactly to the day of Benoit's incident where he took his life and he killed his family in the process. And I find it funny how WWE is banning the bank statement because it's similar to the crippler crossface the week that Jericho uploaded this podcast. I don't think it's going to be banned. I don't think Sasha Banks deserves that. She had nothing to do with Chris Benoit. I don't think anybody has ever mentioned Chris Benoit in, seeing the bank statement. I don't want WWE to give her another finishing move. I like the bank statement. It's unique to Sasha Banks' character. Why would you strip her of something that makes her unique? Why? I like it. It works for her. So right now, at this point, it's all speculation. There is no formal report that this is true or not. Like I said, Joe Cronin reached out to Road Dogg because he was livid over this shit. He was like, what the fuck? It's just such a bizarre move. Road Dogg says he has heard absolutely no news about this happening. So again, take it with a grain of salt. Banks statement banned? We don't know yet. We'll have to wait to see what happens with Sasha Banks when she's back in the ring. We'll know more if she wrestles again on Raw and she applies the move, if it's banned or not. But right now, do not take this report as anything too serious. And that is all for Off the Script, guys. I will be back for part 4 of this weekend's show. I got more news on NXT. I got more news on Roman Reigns. You're not going to want to miss it. So stay tuned. Part 4, 11 a.m., the usual time. And I'm also working on a video talking about the major pay-per-views and the leaked schedule that now has been confirmed as legit. WWE changing WWE pay-per-views and altering the schedule. I will go over what I think should be the ideal schedule and how I would make the schedule for WWE's pay-per-view going into 2016, the summer 2016 and beyond into 2017. So look forward to that. I'm going to make a separate video on that as well, and I will be releasing a audio version of a podcast as well on iTunes. It's been a little bit. I'm sorry for you guys asking me, JD, where's the iTunes podcast? It's been 2 weeks now. Work and in real life shit have just taken up my time, guys. I don't have enough time. So after this week, I have one more full week of work. And then my request for part-time hours goes into effect. I will be home a lot more, and I will give you guys the best content that I've ever given you. I'll be energized. I'll be ready to go. I'll have fucking sleep in me, and you guys are gonna get a channel that you are fucking proud to be subscribed to, man. And I can't wait to bring you guys more content than ever before with a reduced work schedule. And yes, I will be okay. For those wondering, I will be fine. Do not worry about me. 45 hours being reduced to 3 days a week, which is 29, 30 hours a week, man. I can deal with that. Don't worry about me. 4 days off, I'm good to go, bro. So thank you guys for your concern. Thank you for watching me on Off the Script this weekend. If you did enjoy, hit that thumbs up. Let me know what you're thinking down below about all the top stories right here on part 3, and I'll be back with part 4. I'm JD. This is Off the Script, and I'll see you guys on Monday morning for part 4 of the #1 fucking podcast right here on YouTube.com. This is Off the Script. I'll talk to you later.